17-year-old Carlos Hallowell from Citrus County found himself at police headquarters after making a desperate 911 call at 6:15 p.m.
Citrus 911, what is the address of the emergency?
4419 South Edge Point. I need someone here immediately right now.
Okay, tell me exactly what's happening.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay.
He reported a horrifying scene. His mother, Denise Hallowell, was lying in bed with an axe buried in her head.
Just stay on the line with me, okay?
Okay.
They're coming. Just stay on the phone with me, okay? Till the deputy's right there with you.
Emergency responders rushed to their secluded lakeside home and found Carlos in a state of shock. His mother, Denise Hallowell, was unresponsive and pronounced dead at 6:50 p.m.
That 911 call is gut-wrenching. Carlos sounds panicked, but something feels off. How could a 17-year-old stay so composed after finding his mom like that? Legally, this call is the first clue. Detectives are already watching him closely. Now, detectives dig deeper. Carlos's story seems shaky, and his calm demeanor raises red flags. In interrogations, consistency is key. Any slip can turn a witness into a suspect. Let's see how this unfolds.
Leads disappear. In the interrogation room, detectives question Carlos about what happened, since he was the last person to see his mother alive.
Once again, my name is Detective Ramos, Lieutenant Ball. So we brought out here, and we're just trying to talk to you, see if you could, help us out and let us know what all took place.
Okay, I don't remember the time. I hear barking from my side of the house, which is abnormal. Our dogs are supposed to be in that little fenced-in area. So the front door was wide open. So went to go find the dogs, checked around the property, looking for them. I couldn't find them, so I went to go wake my mom up to help me find them, and then I found her there.
So what did you see when you walked into your mom's room?
It was our axe in the side of my mom's skull, and I can still hear her trying to breathe.
Right now, the detectives are still unsure about what really happened inside the house. They need to uncover the truth as quickly as possible, but they also have to handle things gently. After all, they're dealing with a young man who just lost his mother, and they don't want to cause him any more pain than he's already facing.
My mom and I have, and we've been through a lot together, so, I mean, there's nothing I wouldn't do for her or anything. So, I just don't know what happened.
Obviously, we're not looking at an accidental situation here, right?
Right.
Somebody put an axe in the back of her head. Who would have done that?
I don't know anybody who would have done that. All my mom's close friends, anything would be people at church. This is the only people that I know.
She don't have any enemies?
Not that I know of. She
People that
kept to herself. So,
you guys are kind of out there in the middle.
Yeah, we're in
nowhere.
We're in the middle of nowhere. We just keep to ourselves. We put signs up because we've had small intruders, and then we hear noises at night. So she just puts all that stuff up for safety.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
She hasn't had any problems with anybody?
Not that I know of. She also stays private from me as well. I only know what I need to know.
Carlos appears surprisingly calm for someone who just found his mother with an axe in her head, and the detectives can't help but find that suspicious. Right now, they're sticking to the facts, going through every detail of Carlos's...
She bleeds to death or something.
The detectives now suspect that Carlos isn't telling the whole truth. Given how severe Denise's injury was, it seems unlikely she could have still been breathing, as Carlos claims. By that point, she would have already passed away. The investigators are now pressing Carlos for a detailed account of what really happened leading up to his mother's death.
So your mom went to her room and now came out and went back to her room again?
Yeah, she does that all the time. She'll get up, get tea, she'll get up, get water, do whatever. And she doesn't always sleep, deep sleep like I do. She's a restless sleeper. She hears everything. So she'll always get up here or there.
The story's changing as we keep going. It just keeps changing and changing. Going from
What's
you talking about she went to you heard her.
Okay.
You say you went to your room.
I'm confused.
You say you went to your room.
Yes.
You closed your door.
Correct.
You heard your mom walk to her room and close her door.
Right. She was doing
And
what
then you
she
went to
normally
sleep.
does. Yes, she was doing what she normally does, and then I went to sleep.
So then how you know she came out and went back in?
That was before I went to sleep. I'm saying that I went to my room, closed my door, and I hear my mom doing what she normally does, goes to her room, and then she needs something, water. She usually gets water. Came out, got water. She went back to her room, never heard it up again. So I went to sleep.
Within minutes, Carlos's story takes a sharp turn. At first, he said he was in his room and heard nothing because of background noise. Now, he claims he heard his mom leave the room to get some water.
So you don't know if she left to go anywhere else or something?
I don't. I usually don't know. I'm a heavy sleeper, and I sleep on that side of the house. Her car's where the garage is, so I usually can't hear it, nor do I know. I usually have something playing in the background to help me fall asleep.
His story keeps changing, and it looks like he's trying to backtrack. When people speak the truth, their details tend to be clear and consistent. But when they lie, they often slip up, adding new details or mixing up facts. Such inconsistencies are clear.
Carlos's story is crumbling. Detectives know lying often shows in conflicting details. Legally, these inconsistencies shift the focus to him. Emotionally, it's chilling. How could a son hide something so horrific? The truth is starting to surface. Things get darker as detectives uncover Carlos's violent past with his mom. Domestic violence history can weigh heavily in court. This revelation makes you wonder, what really happened in that house?
Around 50 minutes into the interview, both detectives stepped out of the interrogation room, leaving Carlos alone. After about 20 minutes, they returned with new information. A few months earlier, Carlos had been reported to the authorities for assaulting his mother, hitting her so hard that her arm was broken.
So not too long ago, you guys got into a little domestic. The cops were called.
Domestic? Oh, no. My mom and I sorted that out. That was completely gotten out of hand, and then my mom overreacted, I overreacted, and we talked about it after it happened and after I was out of the house.
Right. Was that before you left or after?
Before. And I wasn't doing well in school, and then we got into the argument, and then she shoved, I shoved, back and forth, stuff like that.
Right.
It wasn't anything physical. It was just like, get out of my face, you get out of my face, get out of my face. Because it just got yelling. It wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
She used to hit me pretty hard, sometimes in the face, mostly in the back, with just anything she could grab. But that was it.
So they have like a special bat or a stick or something that would be
Nah.
just for that?
No. It was just anything that was close by. If it was my keys, she'd whip me with my keys, and that's it. And then after the years, I just kind of took it because it's not really going to stop. But my mom's always been there for me still. So.
Is that the reason why you moved out?
Yeah, that is. After I defended myself, I kind of had enough of it and I moved out.
You talking about the keys deal?
Yes.
That was kind of like the last straw deal?
That was. And she wanted me out, and I officially moved out.
After breaking his mother's arm, an act he claims was in self-defense, Carlos left home and stayed with friends for several months. During that time, he began taking medication for depression and started to stabilize. Only then did his mother allow him to move back home.
My mom finally got me on antidepressants.
Taking those?
Prozacs, yes. Take them every day.
Working?
Mm-hmm.
What did the doctor say that he was diagnosed with?
Depression.
Carlos insists that he and his mother settled their differences and that she welcomed him home with open arms. In reality, Denise was afraid of him. She installed security cameras because she didn't trust him and feared he might hurt her again.
Carlos, how often do you think it is that somebody's sitting in their house taking a nap or anything like that situation and some stranger comes in and kills them?
I don't know, but I will say this. I hope you're not insinuating I would do this. Because she adopted me from 4. She has been my mother and has been by my side.
What my inference is that rarely ever happens.
Okay.
That rarely ever happens. And what I'm trying to lead to is that 99.9% of the time, it's a family member or a close friend or
you don't know anybody
or a lover or something like that.
As the interview goes on, Carlos grows more and more uneasy. He's starting to realize he's no longer just the grieving teenager who lost his mother. He's now the detective's prime suspect.
So I don't know what you guys are trying to get out of me right now, but I didn't do anything and would never do anything to my mother like that. As much as we used to bicker and get back at each other, fighting sometimes, and then peace, and then back and forth, and then peace again, never in a million years would I ever think to do that. She's my mom. I was adopted at age 4, and I've been with her forever. And if you're insinuating that, I'm very offended by that.
Throughout most of the interrogation, Carlos stayed calm and composed, almost unshakable. But when the detectives confronted him with direct accusations, he finally showed flashes of anger and worry, the sort of reactions you'd expect to see from the very start.
You're putting on a pretty good show.
A show?
Yeah, you're putting on a really good show.
A show?
Yeah.
How's this a show?
I remember the whole interviews with you back when all this went down.
You remember that?
Yeah, I was in charge of the major crimes unit then.
Okay.
So, and I remember that CPT talking about how your attitude of things were very sociopathic.
Sociopathic?
Which is exactly what you're showing me right now. And you're trying to act like you're upset about something.
Trying?
Yeah.
Okay, how is this trying? That was my mom. My mother.
Yeah. Right.
So trying, how is this trying?
Because you don't feel like normal people feel.
I don't feel like normal people feel.
Yeah, that's what a sociopath has the issues with.
Okay,
So
you're calling me a sociopath?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. This is what sociopaths do.
Well, do what?
I've just been sizing you up the whole time.
Okay.
It's like 100%.
Okay, you can size me up.
You don't have normal feelings.
You can size me up all you want. I do have normal feelings. I loved my mom. Ask anybody in this county.
We're going to release you to DCF, and DCF's going to have to figure out where you go.
Okay. When it might be released to DCF?
I think I just told you it takes a little while. All right? So hang loose.
Carlos's anger when accused is intense, but his detachment is eerie. Calling him a sociopath is a bold move. Detectives are testing him. Legally, his past assault makes him a prime suspect. Emotionally, it's heartbreaking to see their bond unravel.
By the lake when he called the police, not in Denise's room like he'd claimed. This revelation led investigators to focus on the lake area. They brought in a dive team for a thorough search, and before long, they uncovered Denise's disconnected CCTV cameras and her mobile phone, both tossed into the water behind the Hallowell home.
Your mom's phone, down by the lake. Her camera's down by the lake.
Okay.
You see how this is stacking up?
I understand. But I'm still...
And the only way I can help you is if you come up front and say, we got a fight, it was a total accident, something like that. If that's what happened, then tell me the truth. I need to know that because I can't help you without that.
Right.
Because without that, it's just something horrible got done, and you don't care about it.
Well, no, I definitely do care about it. I'm fairly pissed. It's just... It's not...
Because I can only follow the evidence I have.
I understand.
I didn't hit you before pretty much today.
I understand, but there's nothing that happened to where we got into a fight at all. There was nothing at all. That's the thing. It was a perfectly good day. We were fine. And I don't remember anything bad going on that day. It was all just okay.
What we're trying to get at, man, like I said, it's been about 2 months, or just over 2 months.
I think so, yeah.
We've been working at this around the clock, man.
Right, I understand.
We're trying to get justice for your mom.
I don't remember what happened at all from when, like, from the dogs barking to finding my mom. And once I found my mom, I did panic. I quite, like, really bad, because it's just, mom's there, panicked, and just grabbed the one that's facing the front door. I grabbed her phone and I grabbed the thing, the one that was up there. I knew about that one. I thought it was the Guardzilla, but it ended up being a white one. And I dumped them in the lake. And then I called 911, either before or after that.
You know why somebody would throw cameras on a cell phone?
Well, of course, to hide it, but I completely panicked.
How many times did you go down by the lake?
think once.
Just wants to throw the phone and the 3 cameras out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know if I did it or if what happened, so I just went.
So you don't remember who you did it?
No, I don't.
You see what it looks like though, right?
Yes, I do understand.
I'm trying
It's
to help you out here.
I know, I understand, and that was the biggest thing that's been weighing on my chest was that I did panic and I threw out the cameras and the phone.
Do you realize that doesn't make any sense for anybody to do that's totally innocent?
Yes, I do understand. So that's what's been bothering me the past 2 months is I don't know. I don't remember.
You do realize that I need more than that. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to do that.
I do. I know. I understand, and I just don't know. I don't remember whatsoever what happened. What really happened between from when I woke up to then.
But your phone doesn't really show you took a nap.
The police now reveal that Carlos's phone data shows he never actually took a nap, contradicting his earlier statement. With his story now falling apart, he finally decides to tell the truth.
Okay. I remember being outside at the shed and grabbing the axe. But other than that, that's it. That's all I remember. Which is why I also panicked, because I remember the last thing I did was grab the axe.
There's no doubt that you did it, it's just why.
Right, I definitely understand that. I want to know that too, because I don't remember any argument whatsoever. Because I remember sharpening the axe, and then all of a sudden it's in the back of her head. So I'm like, oh.
So did you do it right after when you sharpened the axe? You walked in the house with that right afterwards? That's what I need to know because I got to be definite on this. I don't like.
I don't have an exact memory of it, so I don't want to say.
Okay, the best of your memory.
Best of my memory, walked in the house with the axe, with not the intent of doing that. I don't know if something was said. Because usually I try to talk to her. I'll say, "Hey mom, get up. We gotta go to work." Or, "Hey mom, we gotta do some stuff." So I don't know if I did that and she made a remark that kind of pushed me over the edge, or if it just all played through.
So after you hit her with the axe, is that when you called 911 right after?
Immediately.
Right after you hit her?
Right after I went, bam, like, phone, 911, checked her breathing, pulse. But as soon as I saw blood running through her nose, I knew there was nothing I could do. So then I was just...
You feel better now? It's off your chest?
A little bit, but I still feel like a piece.
Even after Carlos admitted he had killed his mother, investigators were still left wondering why he did it.
She was very verbally abusive. I remember, I do remember being in tears by the time that conversation ended. She backed it up with like strong adjectives and then strong emotions of like, "I'm so disappointed in you," which I've heard that before. Okay, blah, blah. And then she's like, "You being a loser." And that's when it's like, okay, chill out. No, then she kept going. When I'm punching something or I'm using the axe or whatever, I play the things that my mom's has done and I just get the frustration out on that. I'm like, okay, mom said this. I visualize what she said in a paragraph and I just beat the out of it.
Although Carlos shared why he killed his mother, he still seemed strangely distant from the gravity of what he had done.
How long are we going to be here?
I know it's longer. I guess we'll make one thing good.
Okay, to take me...
You'll go to our jail here and then transfer probably to Ocala.
To jail?
Yeah. The jail here is just for processing, and you go to DJJ up to Ocala.
So I'm going to have a record now?
Well, you don't have a record. You don't know what happened. But you have a reason for what happened?
Well, no, I mean, like, is there any way of getting expunged later?
That's worked up to the courts. I don't have a reason against it, but it's up to the courts.
I just hope that this doesn't really affect too much, because there's still things in college.
It's all up to the courts.
Carlos Hallowell was charged with premeditated first-degree murder. Because he was underage, he couldn't face the death penalty, but he was still tried as an adult. In July 2021, he was found guilty of killing his adoptive mother, Denise, and received a life sentence without the...
Carlos's confession is chilling. Rage took over, but his detachment feels unreal. Life without parole at 17 is heavy. It's a tragic reminder. Unresolved pain can lead to unthinkable acts. What do you think about this verdict?